What's up, YouTube? It's Rochelle Tanner. It's 7:30 on the East Coast. It's May 29th, 2023. Happy Memorial Day. If you're going out to celebrate, please be safe. I want to jump on to talk about this young lady that's going viral. She's pictured in my thumbnail. I think she went viral over on Facebook, but I don't Facebook a lot, so it made it over here to YouTube. Now, I watched some reaction videos to this photo, and I read a lot of comments, and I want to give my take on this. Let me start off by saying I'm not beating up on this young lady because I see a lot of young ladies just like this young lady in the picture. I'm not going to beat up on her because I think there's enough people doing that now. This young lady is not the bane to the black community. And I read comments like, this generation, they da 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 da, and blah blah blah. It's like I tell people on the streets. Y'all might want to stop dogging these young people out because you raised them. Now, she looks about 2021 to me. I'm 42. So her mom's around my age. And just by looking at the picture, I guarantee you when this young lady was a little girl, her mother picked her up in attire like that. Because she was never taught how to wear clothes, where to wear clothes, and what kind of clothes to wear. And that's a failure of her mother. When I look at a photo like that, a lot of the things I see in this girl is a failure of older black women, not this young black woman, because she really thinks she looks nice. You can tell by her smile. You can tell she's proud of her son, she's happy she's there, and she really thinks she looks nice. And if you look at her son, she thinks he looks nice, because by 5 or 6, little boys should have slacks, shoes, and a dress shirt and a tie to wear to special occasions. You men that are around my age, you know you had those things, because when we were kids in the 80s, especially the early to mid 80s, y'all had to go to church. And I remember y'all on picture day, so you know what I'm saying is true. It's a failure of older black people. Now, I would love to ask this young lady 2 things. Can I see a picture of your mother? And who taught you how to dress yourself when you were a girl? Because I know a lot of women my age didn't teach your girls too much of anything in the last 20 years. And it shows. Young ladies today don't seem to know that there's 4 seasons of clothes. It's just like the 4 seasons. You don't dress for the day. You should have certain pieces in your closet so you can maneuver that are staples. You should have a black skirt, navy blue skirt, black slacks, navy blue slacks, and some khakis, a white button-up shirt, and a blazer. And these things aren't expensive. You can go over to Goodwill and get really good quality clothes for very cheap, because I don't like paying a lot of money for clothes. I just like to look nice. I wear a lot of sweatsuits in my videos and hoodies and things, but I work remotely and I'm a bit of a homebody these days, so I don't really need to get dressed. But if I did, I know how to dress. A lot of young ladies today don't know. You don't have to show your behind to be sexy. And don't get me wrong, if she was going to a club down in Florida on a Friday night, her outfit's perfectly appropriate. But to go to a graduation, it's not, and no one's ever taught her the difference. I see women my age wearing things like that, and they shouldn't be. I don't even care if they have a decent figure. They shouldn't be, because there's something called age appropriate. And when older women are out here mimicking the younger women, it causes chaos and confusion, and it co-signs their behavior. I look at Tina Turner. Tina Turner, when she was 29, I was watching some of her old videos, because I'm still real vulnerable since she died. I'm vulnerable, guys. That's what she was, one of my favorites, her and Ike, in her whole career. But anyway, 29-year-old Tina and the short mini skirts in the 60s and early 70s wasn't my Tina Turner by 1984 when I was 4 years old and my first album, Private Dancer. If you look at her performances in the late 80s, early 90s, Tina Turner's skirts weren't super short. They were age appropriate, and she still looked sexy. A lot of women of today don't have that are in their 40s and 50s. They're dressing way too young. And it leaves very little room for the young, because the young women should be able to appreciate that there's a time and place for everything. But how can they, when a lot of women my age and older don't appreciate it? I've seen some young men talking about, oh, single mother this and these single mothers that. Now keep in mind, I don't have children. I understand children take love, they take care, they take money, and they take selflessness. I can't imagine my mother coming up to the school, girl or boy. I'd be so embarrassed. I hear a lot of men talking about the embarrassment, and they're right. I've seen this in Philadelphia where a woman's walking up the street on a Monday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Her butt and titties are out walking with 2 little kids. That is embarrassing. But for all you men dissing this woman, where's that boy's father? And don't you dare just put it on her, because he has an obligation too. In a perfect world, they both be living in the same house, raising this little boy so they could do what's best for this little boy. Because when I was a girl, my sisters and I, my mother dressed her girls. But my father had to sign off on it because he paid for our clothes and things. And my father had great taste in clothes, as did my mother. And my mother and father weren't going to have us out here in tight clothes and not caring what we wore or how we looked. Now, his father should be there to check this woman. His father should actually be there to help his son tie his tie for his high school, well, for his kindergarten graduation or any graduation, because a lot of fathers have not been as active as they should be. And his father should be there to tell his mother, you look a mess, go get changed. But father aside, as a woman, she should know how to go to a graduation. This little boy's only in kindergarten. A kindergarten graduation dressed appropriately. Now, I seen the other side. You young women, oh, well, at least she's there, and who cares what she wears? You young women gonna have to understand this. I understand a lot of older women failed you and stuff, but it's time to pick it up. It's time for the older ones to pick it up too, or things are never going to get better. Listen here, you decide to have a baby in the manner you have it in, but you have to know his or her needs should come before your own. And yes, that includes being sexy mommy all the time. No, sexy mommy shouldn't be at the graduation. Regular mommy should be at the graduation in a nice skirt, some pants, a nice blouse, not embarrassing the life out of her children and traumatizing them so young. No one tells you to have these children by the men you do. And it is hard, because I'm 42 and I don't have children, and it's hard. It's not that I don't want them, it's I have to be very particular in the seed I carry. It's important, because as my father came home every night, I expect that for my children because of things like this. I don't want to raise a little girl, little boy that doesn't know how to function in society, because her son's not going to be able to function in society, and that's what a lot of you women are missing. You can blame the men all you want to and all that, and they play a role. But if you're with this person, this little person, 24/7, you have to think about what your image, what they're looking at, does to them. This young lady doesn't have to be half naked to be pretty or sexy. She's a nice looking young lady. And young lady, there's a lot of nice looking young ladies, but the clothes you're wearing makes you look cheap, tacky, and loose. And I'll tell you what, black women, you don't want people talking about you, but you never see these videos of Asian women dressed like this, white women, a lot of Hispanic women. I'll say a lot because with some Hispanics, you got your Cardi B wannabes too. I'll just put it like that. But you'll never see these women dressed like this going to pick up their kids or taking pictures. That's for a reason. And you want young women and women my age need to understand we're in a race. We're in a fucking race. And this is why people that just got here, women that just got here, only been here a couple generations, put their nose down at you. Because we're out here looking like crazy people. Yes, clothes do count. And I'm not talking about a lot of shit I see online today about the name and Balenciaga and Yeezys and all that other crap. That's not what I'm talking about. Because a lot of that shit's ugly. It's unrealistic. And who the fuck's going to wear that but a bunch of Holly weird weirdos? I'm talking about looking nice, looking pressed, and presentable for what you're going to. And that doesn't take a brand name. That just takes some love and care. Because there's a lot of women, some of the best dressed women out here, they're not wearing all these name brands, and they look better than these younger people on any given day. And some of these older younger people, midlifers. It's time to pick it up, man. This is getting ridiculous. As I said, I want to be in the middle of this because Both sides are wrong. And if black people in this country don't get it together to some degree, I'm telling you guys, it's good. You think it's bad now, give it 10 more years. You young black women gotta understand, once you have a baby, you ain't no kid no more. And yes, the way you dress impacts your children. And you young men need to understand more. You need to have your asses in the house to check these women, to make sure she's checking these children. And a lot of older black women, it's time for you to grow up. Yup. It's time for you to grow up, because some of these women in their 20s, we've all worn things in our 20s. We look back and think, what the fuck was I thinking? But when you're dressing just like them, you're not letting them be young and make mistakes and guiding them along the way, because you are wearing the same shit they're wearing. The colorful weaves, the long nails, the eyelashes, the short shorts, the catsuits, and shit. Women in your 40s, it's time to give that shit up. And again, it's not that you can't be sexy in your 40s. I'm not saying that. But a lot of shit y'all wearing and shit ain't sexy anyway. And y'all ain't teaching your daughters shit and your granddaughters, like leggings. I said it once and I'll say it a million times. Young women, and just in this aspect, have been failed. Leggings aren't appropriate everywhere. And in this aspect, it's not just young black women. All you young women, leggings shouldn't be at an office. No, you shouldn't wear leggings to go pick up your kid. Now, I can see if you're a busy mom, you got on some cute leggings and a long t-shirt and some sneakers, and you're running to get your kid from the gym, or you're straight from the gym to the school, or you're running around with a long shirt and sneaker. I got it. But wearing short tops and your leggings and your ass jiggling, it's time to stop all that. Or don't. Understand, young women, black women that are like this young woman who don't see nothing wrong with it, give it another 15 years. Don't you dare be like your grandparents' generation and my generation soon to come, talking about, oh, we don't know why they act like this. And you can raise kids anyway and they're going to do what they want. Don't cop out and be punks like the We Shall Overcome generation, like they're doing now and have been doing, acting like they walked on water when they know why shit's fucked up. Same thing goes with people my age. Don't act like y'all don't know why it is like it is. That young lady was failed by the women in her family, absolutely. And the young man who made that little boy, more than likely he was failed too. Because if he wasn't, he cared that his son is graduating from kindergarten. And a lot of you young men need to pick it up too. Y'all up on YouTube talking about this young woman and dogging her out and whatnot. A lot of you got a lot to learn. And these women don't make these babies by themselves. And if you don't like what she's wearing, be in your kid's life so you can tell her you don't like what she's wearing. And let me just say, for a lot of you men, you shouldn't like what the little boy is wearing either. You're sitting here harping on the mother. You can tell by the way the little boy's dressed, she doesn't know too much. So, on that note, guys, that's all I want to say. I hope things get better. I hope someone on the internet or in real life reaches out to this young lady and offers her some assistance in life, in woman training, instead of beating up on her or talking like she's a saint. She's a person. I hope she gets some assistance in life training. And older black women, you guys, a lot of you should be ashamed of yourselves. A lot of you should, because this is what you raise. 10 years ago when you were on World Star and all these places doing God knows what and twerking and all this other BS, those girls were 10 at that time. And what that you taught them is starting to show. Speaking of twerking and going to schools and whatnot, y'all don't see other races of women doing this. Other races, this is getting sad in our kids. Well, I take that back. Y'all's kids. You're going to pay for this. So you can either pick it up and be adults and be real parents, or don't, but you're going to pay the price very soon. I hope someone gets to that young lady. On that note, guys, have a good Memorial Day. I'm out.